The Color Purple is making a comeback on the big screen. The original film, based on Alice Walker's novel, opened in 1985 and was an Oscar-nominated success for director Steven Spielberg. Many people remember the 1985 film adaptation of the novel The Color Purple of the daily lives of Black women in the southern United States and the males who have wronged them. The book, including a Broadway play, has also been adapted for the stage. In 2005, it was made into a Broadway musical, and that version, complete with songs, is being produced into a new film. The team in charge of production is already impressive, with director Blitz Bazaoule and original cast member Oprah Winfrey producing through her Harpo Films label. But first, let's glimpse the new cast members and see how they compare to the originals. It's unclear if the music film will be more influenced by the 1985 film, the original stage performance, or the novel. For the time being, we know who will play the primary characters in the musical adaptation. Let's see who the new and known faces are who will provide a fresh perspective on these legendary film roles. The original cinematic adaptation of The Color Purple starred Whoopi Goldberg as Celie, Danny Glover as Mr., Ray Don Chong as Squeak, Lawrence Fishburne as Swain, and Oprah as Sophia. Whoopi Goldberg and Fantasia Barrino as Celie Harris. Celie Harris, played by Fantasia Barrino, is a protagonist and receptacle for the long-suffering difficulties of Black women in the early 1900s, such as racism, misogyny, incest, and domestic abuse. Harris progressed from a shy teenage girl to a self-sufficient woman in every medium. She flees her terrible father's life and marries her equally abusive husband, Mr. She eventually leaves Mr. and his unhappy family for a life filled with respect and affection. The Hallmark song I'm Here represents the pinnacle of her struggle for independence in the musical. It was initially played by Whoopi Goldberg. As she was cast in her only second film role as Celie, she was mostly known as a comedian. She stunned moviegoers with her performance of the humble oppressed Celie, which garnered her an Oscar nomination for Best Actress. Celie was her breakthrough role. Barrino, an American Idol winner, portrayed Celie in The Color Purple on Broadway from 2007 to 2008, and she will now have the opportunity to leave her indelible mark on the role on the big screen. Danny Glover and Coleman Domingo as Mr. Albert Johnson, aka Mr., the major antagonist in the original book and every modification, loses his first wife and requires a mother for his children, which is where Celie comes in. Celie is treated more as a servant for his family than as his second spouse. His bond with Celie eventually becomes a motivation for her freedom. Similarly to the 1985 film, he redeems himself by altering his ways and assisting Celie in reuniting with her sister Nettie. It'll be up to Zola's Coleman Domingo to give his highly despised character new life. Danny Glover, a master of both drama and comedy, made his mark on the character, and now it's Coleman Domingo's turn. Domingo, who has appeared in HBO's Euphoria, the 2021 feature Zola, and pretty much everything he's been put in, received a Tony nomination in 2011 for his work in The Scottsboro Boys. Oprah Winfrey and Danielle Brooks as Sophia. Oprah Winfrey made her cinematic acting debut as the fiery Sophia, and she was immediately nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. Sophia is a natural force, running her family and reacting when Harpo assaults her until a series of events crush her spirit. Sophia is Mr.'s eldest son Harpo's wife. Sophia packs her belongings and leaves with her signature song, Hell No, after a string of domestic violence events with Harpo. After briefly missing, she reappears irregularly throughout the musical, ending in a reunion with Harpo following her stint as the Major's indentured servant. The part defined Winfrey as an actor, propelling her already illustrious career to new heights. Danielle Brooks, star of Orange is the New Black and Peacemaker, may have large shoes to fill, but she's got plenty of practice. Ray Don Chong and her as Squeak. As a silent and spirited Squeak, her's mysterious aura will serve two purposes. After Sophia leaves Harpo, she enters the narrative and establishes an intimate involvement with him. Though she has a minor role, she's crucial in parenting Harpo and Sophia's children after Sophia gets incarcerated for an altercation with the mayor. Squeak eventually discovers her voice and decides to leave Harpo to pursue a professional music career. Squeak doesn't have as many musical performances as the other characters in the plot because of her modest role. The Grammy and Oscar-winning vocalist will make her feature film debut with a musical version. Ray Don Chong was originally cast as Harpo's girlfriend in the 1985 picture. Ray Don Chong was probably familiar to audiences from her many TV appearances in shows like 911 and American Crime Story Impeachment, but she made an early mark with her supporting role. Akasu Abusha and Halle Bailey as Nettie. Halle Bailey will play Celie's younger sister Nettie in The Color Purple, much like her character in Grownish. Nettie and Celie are sexually and physically assaulted by their father as children. The two sisters are first reunited after Nettie flees their oppressive father to live with Celie and Mr., but sexual propositions from Mr. cause her to be forcibly banished from their home. Outside of her initial numbers with Celie, Nettie has very few acoustic moments due to her early exit. She ultimately reunites with Celie in the end for her victorious return. Of course, audiences are familiar with Halle Bailey's work in television and music, and her casting was authorized by Oprah Winfrey. Akosua Busha originally played Bailey's Nettie in the Oscar-nominated film. Bailey also played Ariel in the live-action rendition of Disney's The Little Mermaid. Willard E. Pugh and Corey Hawkins as Harpo. Harpo is the eldest and most visible of Mr.'s offsprings. After marrying feisty Sophia, he tries to follow his father's footsteps, but he isn't as powerful and domineering, and his youthful wife runs over him. After accepting some advice from Celie, his relationship with Sophia eventually becomes mutually abusive. He comes into his own after Sophia left and takes his children by building a juke point, which leads to Shug's entrance and his signature number, Brown Betty. Harpo continues his relationship with his girlfriend, barmaid Squeak. Squeak eventually abandons him, giving him a second shot with Sophia. Willard E. Pugh, who has had a successful career in supporting roles in films like RoboCop 2 and Air Force One, played Harpo early on. The Walking Dead's Corey Hawkins will play Harpo in this role. Hawkins has also been on Broadway, where he received a Tony nomination for 6 Degrees of Separation. In last summer's production of In the Heights, he showcased his pipes as Benny. Margaret Avery and Taraji P. Henson as Shug Avery. Shug Avery is a formidable opponent. She's the object of Celie's adoration and the embodiment of the kind of life Celie can only dream of. She's an attractive and seductive presence, but she's also a reflection of what Celie wants but can't express. Margaret Avery was nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for her work in the original film. But Taraji P. Henson is ready to step into her high-heeled, sparkling shoes and bring all of Shug's glitz to the table. Taraji P. Henson's performance as the free-spirited singer Shug Avery makes perfect sense. Shug's friendship with Celie and Mr. causes a twist in the plot. Avery and Celie, Johnson's long-term mistress, had a rocky start before becoming friends. As time passes, their connection develops into an affectionate one as Celie begins to rebel against Mr.'s domineering tendencies. Shug and Celie exchange several musical moments while vamping it up in the fan-favorite song Push the Button. The original film in 1985 was one of the most successful films to have been produced, also being nominated for Oscars. It was initially a novel by Alice Walker, which also won a Pulitzer Prize. Both of these won over countless hearts. But now the remake of The Color Purple is still somewhat questionable. Can it live up to the legacy of the original film and novel? Will these cast and crew members be able to create a masterpiece that will be unforgettable for decades? Nobody knows. But we'll soon find out once the movie comes out on December 25 this year on Christmas Day. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're curious about how this new movie will turn out. Do you have a favorite character from The Color Purple? Do you think these new cast members can fill the shoes of the legendary actors of 1985? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below.